Hockey Nation fans, welcome back to the Hockey Nation live show with Coach Frenchy directly from the booth and Michael Devellano directly from the West Coast, California. Welcome back, Michael. Hopefully you have a great weekend, ready to rock and roll Monday, November 15, 16, 2020 with the New York Rangers. We are on the 31 days and with 31 different teams. So today it's again the New York Rangers.
Yeah, finally got some scouting in. I don't know how many more tournaments we'll actually be allowed to have, but
that's maybe the only one you're going to get for the next couple of weeks. Everybody's going to lock down the next back-to-back. Wisconsin, Michigan start this morning, I believe.
Today. Oh man! So we were at the tournament in the scouts room, and everyone's trying to arrange tournaments, and a bunch of the teams are supposed to go to Detroit next weekend for the high performance league, and I was like, "You're not going, guys. I don't think it's going to happen."
No, she shut down the. She's so going to shut down everything, school, and dinner, restaurant, everything like that. So we expect following by Ohio is going to get the same thing, and then you get Washington State do the same thing now. So you're going to see more and more states going to be join the party in a couple of weeks. So she's going for 3 weeks.
Oh my God, this is ridiculous.
So
I'm so happy I got to see all those players. I mean,
yeah,
there were 3 teams I think that opted out last minute: Alaska and Colorado Thunderbirds. So that was probably their last chance. I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, like everybody else, but we got to see some great hockey, and I'm glad we got to see the players, so we kind of at least have an idea of who's who.
Yep, it is what it is. We on the couple more months, and be careful. Just we have to go through that one. It'll be like 5 months, and after that, we'll be fine, and we'll go back, and we can hanging there for skip Thanksgiving, skip the holidays like usually it is. But 2021 we're going to be back normal.
Amazing.
At the middle of the.
No, it's not. There's no more normal. It's just what it is.
Yeah. So part of what we are, but we are back in the booth. We are back on the good show today. We have a couple of big news. Honestly, the biggest news of the day is the last send. I think it was 9:00 a.m. this morning. The NHL with the company jersey Adidas unveiled the reverse retro jersey for each team. Pretty interesting to see, and if you have a chance to look all the jersey in NHL, maybe tomorrow we can come back here with maybe the ranking of all the jersey from the 31. You have a chance to go to NHL website. You're going to see all the fun jersey, and some are really fun, some are really boring, some they are interesting to see that.
I love the Quebec Nordiques being on there, and frankly, I feel like the Nordiques should play the 21-21 season.
Yeah,
let's add in the Nordique.
Honestly, Anaheim is pretty good. Coyotes are purple. Boston are boring with the same yellow like usually they are, so it's not like not big deal. Buffalo Sabre, pretty neat what they did. I like the fact. See the Wheeler jersey has always been the one I really like this jersey. So see that over there. Chicago Blackhawks came back with the old logo and not the traditional jersey they have. So it is what it is with Chicago. Quebec Nordiques have a pretty nice jersey over there. Columbus, see them in red jersey, pretty interesting to see that. Dallas Star are all white, so it's like with a big star from the bottom. Everything on that. The Red Wings, the Detroit Red Wing. I don't know if did you see that?
No, I'm trying to log into because it's on ESPN, right?
No, it's on NHL.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Hold on.
Yeah. So the Detroit Red Wing are very boring.
Okay, this is what. So I don't have to subscribe to ESPN. ESPN. Google, man, give me a break. Anaheim Ducks, that's weird. Coyotes are fine, whatever. Boston's boring, man. What the
I
hell?
know. I know.
Buffalo, they kind of go back to the double sword thing, but the weird, I don't know.
Yeah, the Buffalo, like the
I
big.
don't like those
Oh
first.
yeah, holy fact, my light is flashing right now.
Yeah, Calgary's and I kind of like the horsepower ones for Calgary. I've always liked those, the Stampede. Hartford, like so Carolina's going for the Hartford Whalers logo.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Blackhawks are the traditional one. I love the Nordique. I mean, come on. So the Colorado's going to go for the Nordique.
they go with maroon, right?
That's weird. So they have the Colorado colors, but the Avalanche. That's interesting. Or the Nordique symbol. Um, I like those Blue Jacket ones. I don't know.
I
The
like it is red, so something's
Yeah,
friendly to
I
have.
like that. The Dallas one's pretty boring. I don't know. It's kind of
I
normal.
know.
Detroit's like whatever.
That's terrible in that one. With
What?
great,
Be
yeah,
better.
no design on it. Like
Yeah,
it
it's
looks
like
like a practice jersey.
heck. Edmonton's.
Almost the same thing they have. They
The
just put
Panthers go back to that old school Panther. I don't know. It's okay, but I always feel like you're just destined to lose.
Panthers are back with the old one, like 1993, 95, with the with the cat, like that one. The
I
little,
think Minnesota missed out. They should have done the North Stars.
yeah.
Yeah, Kings are kind of normal. You know what? It's funny. You get that blue Canadians jersey, and we wore those one year when we were the Toronto Junior Canadians, and they were pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the fact they did that. I think it's very nice to see
I
that.
kind of like the blue. Like it was a nice break from the Reds.
Yeah,
Preds look the same. New Jersey goes back to the old school green. That's
I like
interesting.
that. I like that.
Can't the Islanders can never get this straight?
You look like the jersey, like Dennis Badvin.
Denny Pavin.
Rangers logo.
Rangers, whatever.
You know.
Oh my God, they have the Alexander Dag. Remember the Alexander Dag on the Ottawa Senators?
It's a red one. It's been nothing on the shoulder, so it's like all right. It's not too bad. You see that? I like the flowers.
Like
I like the flowers.
it's fine. What they should do for the Flyers is make them wear Cooperalls.
Yeah, Pittsburgh is white.
Terrible. It was like nobody can move, but they're more protective. Pittsburgh's boring. Sharks are boring. St. Louis is boring.
The St. Louis is the old one, like a long time ago.
I thought that was still the way they were. Leafs are the Leafs could have done the St. Pat's.
Yep.
Why didn't they go green? They should have gone St. Patrick's. That's weird.
I like Vancouver.
Vancouver's actually pretty good, although the V is always crazy. But if they would have done that, wait, what is this? Vegas Golden Knights? That's weird.
Yep.
Weird. I like I don't know, the red on the Washington one with the giant eagle looks interesting. That's not.
I like that. I like the fact they make capitals at the bottom, like like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, and the band and then the Jets is fine. It's not.
Well, great. Like surprised me a little bit, but it's all right. I like it.
I'll have to share these tomorrow. People don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm going to see that tomorrow. Show the ranking and we thought that we can come back with that one over there. But that's pretty much what the big news in the NHL. Other effect, I will talk about this to you if you don't mind. We have NHL make the every year they have a ranking, defensemen, goalies, and everything like that. And today was by the fact they're doing like the 31 and 31 start today with Anaheim Ducks.
Did they?
Yeah,
anybody that wants to see this article, we'll show stuff tomorrow, but you can see what we're kind of referencing here.
And then what I want to talk to you before we go, I just want to have your insight about the 20 top centers in NHL. And I'm not going to go from the top, from the bottom to the 20 to 1 because it's easier to get the top five. So going to go from 1 to 20 and tell me what you think about that.
From top to like number 1 down.
Yeah. So
you're saying Connor McDavid, I mean, to me, that just is a reality. I mean, I think he's so good.
Yeah, one step over everybody. You know what I mean?
You know, it's funny because we were in Arizona over the weekend, and the skating coach for Austin Matthews, his son plays for the Junior Coyotes, and he's a good player. And they were kind of talking about how his dad trained Austin Matthews, and then there was a skate in Arizona that had Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, and a bunch of guys that are training, and they were like, as amazing as Austin Matthews is, because he's a very powerful skater in small areas, they're like, Connor McDavid's like blows everybody away. Like, he's just so good. He can do everything at high speed. I like Nathan McKinnon, you know, like there is some question for a while. He took a little bit of time, and I think he always struggled because he was able to generate so much power and go so fast, and it didn't always work out, and now he's put it all together. Draisaitl's not as explosive as those guys, but he's just so dominant and good, and he's shown he's an elite goal scorer. Crosby makes sense at 4 to me. I'm so happy that people aren't saying he's number 1 because he's not. I mean, he hasn't been number 1 for a few years, in my opinion. Still a great player, but I mean, he's not going to crack 100 points unless he decides to. He might decide to. Austin Matthews, I always have a hard time with Austin, but I do. It's pretty obvious when a guy scores 47 goals and he's able to, you know, he's such a powerful player. It's weird. I don't always think of him as a center, but he obviously is. Jack Eichel makes a lot of sense to me, and I think he might, you know, these two to me, like, that's tight together. And then you throw in Bergeron, right? Like, Bergeron is what he is, and the guy's point production has actually jumped over the years. It's pretty interesting.
It's only they put him 7 for what the season he got last season. I don't think he had a good season last year.
Really? The guy had 56 points, though.
Yeah, but if you think about other, like Brenton Point, I think he's like 92 points. The year prior and this year, he had like 6. I think Point was
31 goals, Pierre.
What?
He's had 3 30-goal seasons in a row.
Who?
Bergeron.
Yeah. But I think the injuries he got last season and the year and the end zone, you know, I think he played only 61 game last season. The fact is there because he's a two-way, maybe the best two-way
for sure. Totally.
player in NHL, like competitive. So that's the main reason why he get that number 7 and maybe not 6 and 5.
Yeah.
But I can consider him the top 2 best, sent any two-way. You know what I mean?
You know, Malkin's had some injury problems because otherwise, as far as I'm concerned, like, you know, his legacy, I mean, look at this, 74 points in 55 games.
Yeah, he had a good year last season. So that I think.
When has he had a bad year? You know, like he's had just injury problems, right? Which is kind of sucky because if you look at him, like that Pittsburgh never wins a cup unless Malkin's at the top of his game. I mean, that guy is so underrated because so much attention goes to Crosby.
Well, last year was the reason why people pay more attention because Crosby missed 28 games last season. So Malkin picked it up and said for the first time he show up really what
he was injured 14 games too. But I think always that happens, right? It's like whenever Crosby's gone, Malkin steps up and takes over, and he increases his production significantly.
Yeah. Definitely. It was a good way for him to have a good year last season. That's
I always like Malkin. I think he's underrated. Braden Point has shown he is legitimately probably, you could make an argument, like you said, maybe he's better than both these guys.
Well, I think the reason why he's number 9, I think so it's like he has a really, 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 really great playoff this year. So he had 33 points in 23 games. So, you know what I mean? But if you think only the season, he don't have that kind of season like other people.
92 points, Pierre.
I'm sorry again?
Didn't he have 92 points or was that the year before?
No, the year before. Last year.
So he's a point a game, like 64 points in 66 games. So
he's not 1 point compared to other players.
He's such a good player that we never acknowledge. He's just, what the heck happened? I lost it. Here we go. He's. I mean, for me, after watching that, what is going on? Where is this stupid article? There we go. What happened to the article?
I don't know.
NHL, you suck. Come on, what is going on with the NHL site? It totally kicked me out. There, let's go back.
So number 10 is it's Mika Zibanejad for the New York Rangers.
That's weird to me.
You know, I mean, he has a good year last year. He missed 13 game also for the. You know, he played over 21 minutes per game last season. That's pretty amazing. Little bit people didn't recognize he played a lot of minutes average also in Shortendon.
How bad does Ottawa look? They gave that guy away.
I'm an NHL right now, so.
Yeah, I'm on there. I'm back. Give me 1 sec, Pierre. I'll let you talk through this.
Yeah. So number 11, of course, it's maybe Alexander Parkov. I don't think so. He have a great year last season. You're going to tell me, yeah, but you have 20 goals, 62 points, 60 game, 66 game. He had a better year the year before that. He had 96 points with 35 goals, 61 assists. He won the Lady Bank Trophy, but I think he is the next. He was considered before this year maybe the next Patrick Bergeron with a little bit more offensive, but two ways side, you know, the waist and the forward, but unfortunately he didn't have a great year. Like Huberdeau have a better year compared to him. So to see him 11, he should be at that level, but I'm not sure if 11 is the right spot for him. Last season, I think Mark Sheffield from the Winnipeg Jets have a great year last season with 73 points, 29 goals, 44 assists. Prior to that one, he have 38 goals a year.
Shifley is another very underrated player. I mean,
I agree with you.
He's like, when you watch him game in, game out, like,
it's a little bit underrated because I think that Winnipeg just always been like Blake Wheeler. And I think that someone play with him is Kyle Corner. We don't give enough to Kyle Corner also. That's
another phenomenal player, right?
Right. So number 13, Sebastian Aho is maybe what Parkov was 2 years ago. I think Aho is the same level of what he is this year. 38 goals last year. Really the dominant players. He was really a solid player for the Carolina. They became where because that's what Sebastian does for them.
Between him and Svechnikov, like what a scary combination.
Yeah. What happened? Many years ago, what Eric Stahl did for Carolina. I think Sebastian will bring the same quality hockey for the Carolina. So I think he's
a star for sure.
I believe 13 for him. I can see him jumping maybe 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 spots next year. On my point, the next one, I'm not agree with that. You can tell me anything you want to. He does not deserve to be number 14. I'm sorry, but not what he did last season.
I think Ryan's a better overall player. Like, Ryan is like the Bergeron type discussion where he does everything. And Tavares, I think we saw in the playoffs, like he's kind of a killer, like in the bad sense for your team. Like it was like a giant hole. They had to move him to the wing to be productive. And then he's like a defensive liability. Now, Nylander was a worse defensive liability, so I don't agree with how they handled him in general. Like they should have kept the guy at center and put Hyman with them because Hyman does the dirty work and plays two ways and can score. But man, you saw like
now he become the second center for the league behind Austin Matthews. 60 points. I think he, the year before, another player got 88 points. So we have a 47 goal. It was pretty amazing, like 18, 19. But did not produce the weight. But the one thing he's doing, he was the top 10 center for the face-off, 55.3, maybe one of the top 5. I did not know the stat in front of me, but to be over 50, that's pretty good, that number, 55.3. Talking about face-off, talking about Bergeron, talking maybe I'm not agree with 15. I would put him at least 12, maybe 10. It's Ryan O'Reilly. It's another one like
For sure.
Mark Sheffield. He's not. He's always been not recognized. I'm sorry. I know you like him a lot, but I
Like,
always love him. So I was in Colorado when he showed up over there. And
listen, I love Ryan for what he is and what he's always been. He's just he's quiet and he's very good at every part of the game. He takes his physical preparation. I've never seen a player like this. Like,
yeah,
you want to learn. That's what I learned from Ryan, was how he mentally and physically prepared at 15. And his approach to the game carries over because he's phenomenal. I mean, he broke records for a reason. But then you see on the ice, you can put him in the PK, you can put him on the PP. This is the really important part where they go, look, when he gets in there in a stick battle, he wins them way more than he loses. And this is what I always said to people, because the big knock on him was skating. And I'm like, I don't think it matters with him. And he's improved his skating a little bit. He still has that weird tippy toe style. But his hands, people don't understand. He understands what's going on. He kind of looks hunched, but he knows what's going on, and he gets the puck where it needs to go. And when you put him in a one-on-one battle, and you see it in faceoffs, but also on the boards and the corners, he's coming out with the puck.
I believe he's a 2.0 Patrice Bergeron in NHL. One thing everybody recognized me, I saw him many times. I was at the Pepsi Center practice
Oh, yeah.
years, and Ryan O'Reilly, and I could be wrong, but he's maybe one of the top players with his wrist shot. His wrist shot.
Thank you. And his stick handling.
He's a cannon. His wrist shot is a cannon. People don't see that one over there.
Yeah, you hit it on the head, and I've watched him practice a lot because I was there. I was like, our guys in practice would be like, okay, whatever.
He's 15 because the quality, but I believe he could be a little bit higher for me.
Yeah, his hands are shockingly good because he doesn't look pretty when he's skating because he kind of has that hunch style and the tiptoe thing.
Yeah.
But his hands, when you watch him, if you ever watched him on a penalty shot, he dekes like 20 times inside of a small booth, and the goalie doesn't know what's going on, and the puck rifles off his stick. Like, he's just underrated skill wise. Anyways, I won't go on and on. I love the guy, and I'm really proud of everything he's done. It's kind of wonderful to watch. Peterson, you got to think's going to just keep moving up there. Like, he's better than Tavares, and so is Ryan. Like, they're both better than Tavares.
Yes, I agree with you. That one over there. I was looking for something like O'Reilly was a top 10 for the faceoff. Bergeron is number 6. The best one was Shea Couturier with JD Miller. Surprised me. JD Miller has 59.2 last season.
Wow, really?
Yep.
I never would have guessed that. Rangers jettisoning that talent. Wow.
Yeah, Jay Bagel is number 3.
No way.
59.1. You know what? It surprised me. How many times did you hear in the NHL how Nate Thompson is really good on faceoff?
Where is he?
He's number 19.
Yeah, I've never really thought he's that great.
Yeah, he was great. I'll be honest with you. I follow him a couple because he was in Montreal.
Yeah.
But last year he did not do the well, like the level the way he's
up there too. Isn't he pretty old now?
So again?
How old is he now?
He's 35.
Yeah, he's up there. He's getting.
Yeah. But it's just surprised to see that style when we go around that. I apologize, but I was just I want to see what looked like O'Reilly about that one there. Number 17 is Steven Stamkos. Reputation, what he did that, another one have a great year, the year prior in 18-19 with 45 goals. Last year got hurt a lot. You remember
it's hard to argue like with his numbers. So I'm just looking at his numbers: 66 points in 57 games, 29 goals, plus 14. He's a 16.5 shot percentage. Like, goal scoring, like his shot percentage is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's great to see him there. It's not so good player. It's just like, he could, another one could be jumped a little bit higher level, higher. I'm not sure if he's always been like, did he play a lot on the wing side? Or
he can play wing. He can play right wing a little bit. He's better than Tavares.
Yeah.
Like
Uh,
again, like he's better than Tavares.
the
Anyway,
next
not to
one,
brag
uh,
on
the
Tavares.
next one is Shea Couturier for the Philadelphia Flyers, number 18.
Well, this is like another one, right? Where he's such a great defensive player, but he can score.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with Claude Giroux didn't have a great playoff. That's
It's
maybe
terrible. Yeah.
burn a little bit what they did last season, but I think it's another Patrick Bergeron mold with
Absolutely.
O'Reilly and those kind of players like this. He played very well on both sides. I think he picked up the last 2 years. I think he stepped up a little bit higher to Claude Giroux for on my book
Yeah,
because
he
a
was,
lot
he
of
was terrible in the playoffs.
yeah. He had 59 points last season and 69 game. But he recognized more on a shot and dirt. He played um, play very well on shot and dirt. Number 19 is Matthew Barzal. It's another young star. He's getting there. I think he will make top 15 next season, I believe. He showed a lot for the last 2 years. You know what I mean?
Is he not better than Tavares as well? I mean, he's arguably better than Tavares.
Uh, he's getting there. I'll be honest with you, he's getting there. John Tavares did not play the level he was supposed to play. I think they put him 14. Is it 14?
Yeah,
I don't think so. He should be 14.
I agree.
But, I mean, top 20, I'm agree about that part. But again,
Yeah, I almost feel like you shove him down to like 18 or 20, and
I'll be honest with you. I'll give you an example. Compare John Tavares with who played with. And you talk about number 20, Matthew Barzal played with Anders Lee and Jordan Eberle, where you don't like him, but I think Eberle is good. But check who played with John Tavares.
Well, Stu Hyman, or I keep calling him Stu because his dad's name's Stu. Zach Hyman is very good. Nylander
Or Mitch Marner.
Or Mitch Marner. Like he's got, there's some talent there, right?
The one you go on power play, right, with Morgan Riley, right, and then they have Tyson Barrie last season, and then Barzal go on the power play. You don't have that quality players and my quote to you, I would bring to you is number 20 with Enzi Kopitar. Look, Kopitar play with who?
Nobody. Absolutely nobody. Like Kopitar is still really good. If you watch him, you're like, ooh, I love this guy. There's an argument that Dubois is probably on the cusp here, like there's probably some. He didn't get the points, but he's shown he can really dominate, and he's two-way. Trying to think of who else might come in this argument, but Kopitar, like this is what I keep saying, like he is still really, really good. His game is not predicated on speed, it's power, it's size down the middle, it's consistency. He wins stick battles. He's a very, very strong person, and he's playing with Dustin Brown. And
the list of what they bring, I think like you can maybe, I think
so good.
Of them could be out of that list. I think the top 20 is pretty good. It's just
it's not horrible by any means.
Moving about that one over there. Someone could be 17, 18, then someone, then you can add a couple players, like I think Dubois, what he bring with Columbus, so you can mention a couple of players in the NHL around. But I think they did a very good job.
Oh, they did. It's hard to disagree with it.
Just manners, how you bring, like, who changing and all that. So, but it's fun to talk about this. I think it's really nice about that. You have another subject they talked this morning is about the biggest name trade candidate or trade bait could happen the next 12 months in the NHL. And it was like, a survey of 21 agents around the NHL. They did that survey, and got 4 votes is Patrick Laney and then Jack Eagle.
What?
Number 3, it's Mitch Marner. Number 4, William Nylander.
Well, that makes sense to me.
Then the rest, I'm surprised a little bit there, but they talk about Max Pacioretty. I don't think so. James Van Riesdick Is it Remsick?
Ben Reed, yeah, JVR is.
I believe more like a buyout to anything else, but another one.
You know,
The next
I
one,
will give him credit. In the playoffs, when he came back from injury, I was like, holy crap, if this guy plays like this all the time, he's really good. Like,
yeah,
he looked great for the games he came back. I was like, wow, this guy can play. I didn't know. He's so lazy.
the next one is Marc-Andre Fleury. I could see that.
Yeah, probably.
Another great Zach Werenski. The next one, I agree. It's Ryan McDonough. The
Yeah.
next one is Jonathan Quick. And then you have two from the Chicago Blackhawks, Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews.
Are they crazy?
Yeah, I don't see what could happen. You have other people, just a couple of names. One talk about Taylor Hall. One talk about, I believe this one could be right. Johnny Gaudreau, I don't think so. He's going to be in there for more than 1 or 2 years with it.
I keep hearing this name. I'm like, to get a player of that caliber, unless they think he's peaked, but he's not that old. Like, he is a star player. Like, I thought Monahan's the guy that had a terrible year. Like, Monahan's the guy that fell off, and
really surprised me for Johnny Gaudreau. He's already played over 464 games in NHL.
He's old, man. He came to the league late.
He's 27 years old.
But he's how many years did he play? 20? Is he 5 or 6?
He's only 7 years. Oh, 6 years. So the 7 he played one game, right?
Yeah,
so
because he came to the league late. He was 20, not late, but he was not. He's an older prospect. He played
in 20 through 22 years old.
For sure. He took time.
I feel like maybe it's the one in the concept of the Flame could leave with there. And I think Flowers, every time they talk about trade, they're looking about Gaudreau going to Philadelphia Flyers, where it could happen, because you see what happened with the Flyers.
Because this is another American player that wants to go home, and I don't know how that works out. Like, maybe he doesn't want to be in Calgary.
I don't want to be the bad guy here. I know we have to jump on the Rangers. We are already over 35 minutes, and you don't have to answer me right now, Michael. But what do you think? And we are in April 2021. We are the end of the season, and the Toronto Maple Leafs maybe not make the playoff, or maybe they lose again the first round. What kind of scenario you think could happen over there?
Oh, I think it goes nuclear.
You know what I mean? Like, what could happen? Like, we didn't make
you move out Tavares, you move out Nylander, you pick up, you just keep this trend of, you keep Matthews and Riley and Marner. Like, you don't ever give up those two players, because in the end, you're never going to replace them.
And again, I don't want to be the bad guy here.
No,
to you about this one where
this team gets knocked out in the first round. Now, I think what they're trying to do is make sure that dressing room is mature enough. And the problem with that team, in my opinion, is it's like a country club. Look at their objection to Mike Babcock. Mike Babcock runs a tough ship, man. He is a tough coach. And he's going to try, and look at how garbage they were before Mike Babcock. And frankly, after Mike Babcock, because without Mike Babcock, that team's record was junk. Like, they dropped last year, right? So they mutiny, they complain, they plant stuff in the press.
Now you don't have to choose anymore, Michael. They have
you bring in these older guys that want to win, right?
It's a Duba team with behind the bench. That's what Carl Dubas was since the beginning. He does not like Michael Babcock. So Mike Babcock. So he has what he has right now. He made that team what he wants to get there right now.
But he could die on the sword.
What happened about that one over there?
Let's be honest, Pierre. He could die on the sword.
That's my point here. And again, I just thinking that way. I don't know what decided time here, but
you have you've let the players pick the coach.
Yeah. It's interesting about that. I don't want to get go deeper. I just want to jump before we jump. I just have two news for you before we jump.
Yep.
The Senators signed a free agent forward Michael Alley, 1 year deal from Alley came from Florida Panthers. Always been a great guy. I mean, those roles don't exist anymore in the NHL, like the play level. I mean, he was the New York Rangers. Now he was the Ottawa Senators. Wish the best for him. You have I don't want to start again bad mouth here, but you have a couple of trouble around us outside our ice. Hopefully everything will be better for him and his family. Just a nice person. Just want to mention that. The second thing I want to mention is Hockey Canada board had 5 new members, including 3 women. So we talk about the direction, the woman more involved with everything. We got the first female woman became GM in the baseball major league last week with the Florida Marlins, and then we more involved with that. It's another step stone in that direction. I can wait. People talk more and more about one day we're going to see a GM woman, and hopefully it will happen. I think that's the way it should be, and that's the way we see more women involved with hockey at the higher level management, and that's what should be, and that's great to see that. So I just want to mention that part over there. Otherwise, it's all you, Michael. We're talking about really a team. I'm really excited about that one over there. We want to apologize for everybody. We knew you was busy Friday with your recruitment, and I could jump in to do the Rangers, but I think it's fun to have you to do it, and because it's a team I'm really interesting to talk about. I think as a team is on the increasement and the sign, go higher and higher now. The next couple of years will be maybe the top 10 team in the next 2 years in NHL, and so I can't wait to you talk about the New York Rangers.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, they again had a huge off season and lots of interesting changes. Well, what the heck? Why can't I go to the next slide? That's weird. Can you see it okay? There we go. All right, so this is Jeff Gorton's team. David Quinn is the coach, and I think David Quinn's done a really good job. Jeff Gorton, frankly, probably has done a good job too overall, although there's parts of the team I don't like. They absolutely, figuratively and reality-wise, won the lottery, and they get the first overall draft pick while also making the playoffs, I will point out, in an expanded playoff format. So they had the best of both worlds. They had some playoff time for that team, and they get Alexis Lafreniere, who we know is...
Can I just open the door here?
Yep.
Yeah. Jeff Gordon is not a NASCAR driver, just in case people can...
Yeah, fun. Formerly Boston Bruins executive, worked under Glenn Sather in the Rangers organization. Alexis Lafreniere is probably I won't say he's hyped. He is legitimately a great player. And we saw it at the World Juniors. This is a next level player. And where he goes from here is only up. I think he'll take a little bit of time to get acclimatized to the NHL, but he should be able to contribute right away. And I would not be surprised to see him get 55, 60 points in a full season. I guess we'll see how many games are actually played. And the top end for him is really high. The only, the weird thing for me is that here's a player that doesn't play center yet is a franchise type player. They already have a franchise type player in Artemi Panarin, who's the top, was he voted the top winger or forward in the league? I think so, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, superstar player. It blows my mind still that Chicago gave this guy up. But we're seeing now he's legit. He's a wonderful player to watch, and he really impacts the game, and he makes everyone around him better. Not a big guy, but supremely skilled and talented. I skipped over the goalie situation. Let's go back to that. Of note is that they move on from longtime franchise goaltender Henrik Lundqvist, future Hall of Famer, has not won a Stanley Cup. So Henrik makes the decision after being bought out to sign with Washington, thinking, along with Peter Laviolette, that gives him an opportunity to win a cup. He's got a really great young goaltender there with Samsonov. We'll talk about Washington another date. Legitimately, Igor Shesterkin, whose name I hopefully pronounced correctly, wonderful, wonderful goalie, like really top-notch goaltending, not just prospect, but he showed in the NHL he can do the deal. Now he has to do it over a full season as the number one. Georgiev is good, and he's probably got 60 or 70 total NHL games under his belt. His goals against is too high for me, but I think that's a reflection of how this team plays and their defensive core, which I don't know if they've really addressed, frankly. So I think Shesterkin and Georgiev have got their hands full with this team still. This is not a fully baked situation. Despite Panarin, despite Zibanejad, who is a really good two-way player, Ryan Strome comes back, which I didn't put on here, but Ryan Strome had a wonderful year playing with Panarin, and I think he's shown that you put him with good players, and this is a great second-line two-way player. Like, he can contribute offensively, and he's always been very good defensively and on faceoffs. So I like that 1-2 combination. They already had the second overall pick the prior year, which is absolutely ridiculous. This is the new Edmonton Oilers, where they just keep getting top 2 picks. Kaapo Kakko will eventually be a very good player, and he might be a centerman. I think that they'll play him on the wing this year, but he's an exciting player. He's big, he's powerful, he's mature. He can do everything very well. So they might have a really dynamite player there. It might be another year, but he's going to be really good. The defense is the thing that's interesting. They won the Adam Fox sweepstakes after Fox, was moved on from Carolina and Calgary and, signed in with the Rangers. Adam Fox legitimately had a very good offensive year. He's not a big guy. He's a very good skater. I'm not sure he's a number one, but, he's up there. And he could also drop down to 4 or 5. I guess we'll see what he is. But he looks like a legitimately very good defenseman. Jacob Trouba comes over, another American player that wanted out of Winnipeg and for a long time was complaining about that through his agent. Gets, I think, way too much money for the Rangers, and I think he's probably a legitimate top 2 or 3. I don't think he's a 50-point defenseman. I think he's 30, but another okay defenseman that's overpaid. Tony DeAngelo gets $5 million. He had a dynamite offensive year, but again, I do not like this guy defensively. And then they go and they sign Jack Johnson, who's another player who's always, in my opinion, been an offensive player that doesn't get points and a defensive liability. So it's kind of weird. They move on from Mark Stahl, who's obviously past his prime. They give up a draft pick to get rid of that contract. Brady Shea, not Brad, but Brady. Thanks, spell check. Brady Shea goes to Carolina. I think Brady Shea, and even they lost, Pionk in the Trouba deal. We're seeing Brady Shea and Neil Pionk in other markets, and they're very good defensemen. Like
about the money situation with them.
It's totally about that, right? Like, they're trying to restructure this team. So, but player-wise, I don't think they get better on D, frankly. But if you look at the lines, let's see if I can zoom in here a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So the top line that they're projecting, Kreider, Zibanejad, and Buchnevich. I think you always thought Panarin would play with Zibanejad, but we saw he partnered up with Ryan Strome really well. Kaapo Kakko on the second line on the wing. I don't know how long that will last. And Kreider, I'm not sure. Because Kreider, there's been, like the other guys that talk, and then finally moved, lots of talk about moving Kreider, but he's a consistent power forward, going to get you 20, 25 goals. So he's an unusual commodity because he's so big and he really can skate. But you can conceivably see him bump also to the third line in certain situations. Buchnevich seems to have carved out a spot for himself on the top line. He's a decent-sized player with a really great shot. And
injuries, right?
Injuries, and you've got to project that in a full season he's going to be a 25 to 35 goal scorer. It just depends. He's got great skill. But you can see there's some pieces that move in and out. And then you talk about Lafreniere on the third line. I just don't see that. I think he's going to be first or second line power play. They'll probably do something crazy, I bet. I would not be shocked to see them go 4-1 on power play, which I do not personally like, but it's pretty tough. Like, you're going to probably want a Kreider in front of the net, and you're going to want Buchnevich as a trigger man. But then, where do you put Lafreniere? You've got to play that guy in the half wall somewhere. Like, he's, aside from Panarin.
is a number 7 forward, the top 7 forward there. Now you take him. If you look at around there, the only player he can pick it up out is Buchnevich.
Well, or Kreider. I mean, Kreider is a little
But
bit inconsistent,
because experience, play dime, and
maybe.
would be upset. Whatever. The only one big problem a Kako because the second year and it's the second year is always
and he already struggled. Like I thought he struggled last year. Like he was trying to find his way. So
I think that's another one could be out of that top.
There'll be some moving pieces, but Lafreniere is going to dominate. He's going to be the second best player on this team in very short order, probably a year or two from now, maybe less. You don't know. Like he's just that type of talent.
Yeah.
Where Kako might still take time. He might. Buchnevich, he's not the same level as Lafreniere. Kreider's definitely not. Kreider's better comparison is, I think, Alex Tuck.
Yeah.
They re-signed Brendan Lemieux. I really like Julien Gauthier. Like this is another thing where Carolina let this guy go. Between him and Nicolas Roy, these are big players that have ability. Julien Gauthier, to me, has a lot of goal scoring in him in the future. Like he could be in the right role, like a very good power forward. He's 6'5". He shows he's a good two-way player and he can really shoot the puck. Philip Cheadle is not a bum. Like he could be a second line center on a lot of teams.
It would be interesting about him. I really believe he's a 15, 20 goal if it's everything turn around good for him.
Probably, yeah. But he's capable. I mean, if you look at a lot of lineups, you go, ooh, people could say, I want to trade for that guy.
That's maybe the biggest problem they have right now, the New York Rangers, the bottom 6 there without Lafreniere. Yeah. I think Gauthier, Giuseppe, and Odin, and Lemieux are not really, Lemieux may be top 4, bottom 4, but that he missed something somewhere. He missed something there. He missed one.
I really like Brett Howden. Like he's probably really well suited to that fourth line role. Giuseppe, I don't see sticking. Lemieux could flex up. He's got some goal scoring. He's nasty. He's got to be more disciplined. Cheadle could be a second line player. Gauthier could be a second line player on a lot of teams. So it'll be interesting. I think we're gonna see over time. Is Julien Gauthier?
I'm not sold right now on those 3: Gauthier, Odin, and Giuseppe. I think they have
not Giuseppe.
Could get someone more experienced. Brand Boy could be a good player there. I think.
Howden. I don't know if you watched Howden, but Howden is a really consistent. Was he in Florida?
I don't think so, but
I thought he was drafted by Florida. But he's a very consistent player, and he's got some grit, and he's got size. He's 6'3", and he can score a little bit. He had 19 points last year for the Rangers. Oh, he's drafted by Tampa. So he's drafted by Tampa Bay. He came over in the McDonough trade, I think.
His second year, you know what I mean?
He's got potential. I think he's really well suited to that. He got 9 goals from the fourth line.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They don't have a choice. They don't have no money.
Maybe. Well, they wasted money on Jack Johnson. I wouldn't have given him 5 cents. They got Ryan Lindgren and Adam Fox right now. Brendan Smith is horrible. I mean, that contract's bad and the player's not good. I mean, I don't think they can even play him consistently as a defenseman. He's just so bad. And then Trouba is very good, but he's not worth $8 million. Jack Johnson's terrible. I think D'Angelo's good offensively last year. He got great numbers, but I'm not in love with him defensively. I mean, I think they got problems back here. And I'm not convinced Adam Fox is a number.
Well, the key right there, I think you are very hard on them. I like D'Angelo. I like Trouba. Trouba play the level. If Trouba play the level, should play.
Yeah, no, he's good.
He's really good.
For sure. He's just overpaid.
Fox is good. Lundgren, I don't know yet. Brendan Smith is a 5 and 6.
He's
not a top 4. Jackson Johnson, can he play who he is? But he's not again. He's not maybe 4, 5, and 6. He's the bottom 6 over there. So they mess up player there. I think they should get Armand. But again, they don't have no money. So
yeah, they have to get rid of the Smith contract. I can see why they were talking about moving out Kreider. But they don't have a lot of wiggle room, right? It helps getting the Lundqvist contract probably off a little bit. But you're right. I mean, it's not obvious how they're going to solve these problems on their team. We look at their scoring.
They have right now a bonus caution penalty of $3.9 million.
It's crazy, right?
So, you know what I mean? Like the projected cap space is 4.8.
It's not much.
But again, the good thing they have, they always signed the roster 2020, 23, 23. That's pretty good on that one over there. But again, I think they have to figure out something about what.
Kreider, Pierre, you've got Kreider at 6.5, and he's got how many years left?
6 more.
6 years. Like, I just don't see that staying.
But again, at 6.5.
How many? What did he get last year? 24 goals?
Yeah, he had 24, 28, 28. You know what I mean? It's not bad at all. If
he's not bad. He's a. I mean, he's a 91 though, Pierre.
A 6.5, 25 goal is great. The only problem you get is this part. He's going to be 35, 37.
He's a 91 birth year, man. He's like. So I don't know. Do they? We'll see. I like the player. He's big. He can score. He's got that Alex Tuck quality where he's got great speed. But I can understand, if he was at 5'8" or something, 5'5", you'd probably be a little more comfortable. But, that doesn't get you a lot in Manhattan. Like, you got to have that extra cash. They should give the Rangers like $3 million more than every other team.
Yeah.
But I think
right now,
very consistent goal scorer. Like, he's had 24 goals last year, 28. He dipped a little bit with 16, 28, 21, 21, 17. He's a very good player.
Yeah. Right about that part over there, if you look all the contract, forward, they don't have no problem. All the contract forward is good. Panarin, 11 million for what he did is amazing. Greater at 25 goal, it's good. At 6.5 right now, what they have is everything. Zibanejad is 5. He's great right there.
Yeah, he's great.
Is good over there. The only problem they have right now is because Droba at $8 million, right? And then Brendan Smith at 4.3. This is too much. It's $12 million should be about $8 million for two players like them.
Yeah, you cannot play Brendan Smith a regular shift. You can't even play him on D all the time. They move him to forward a lot because he's a liability defensively. He was a liability in Detroit. So it's a weird contract at 4.3. I was surprised they signed him. So anyways, I think 4.3 will come off the books next year, so you're not too worried about it. It'll be a prorated year.
Do you want the red flag?
Yeah.
All right. Girardi, 1.1.
This is crazy.
$6 million this year.
It's crazy, right?
Lundqvist, $5.5 million. So you have a $30 million dead on your money.
I don't think they're thinking they're going to win the cup this year. I think they're like, listen, we'll finish lower than we should one more year, and then we're going to come out and destroy everybody, right? But they have to address, like, they'll have money fall off, which is what needs to happen, right?
Next year they say $10 million. Listen, this is a good point you mentioned. This I like to talk something like this because sometimes you open up eyes. They gain $8 million next year on the dead money. They get also $4.3 million of Brendan Smith.
Right.
So now they get $12 million on their pocket right there where that's pretty amazing about, you know what I mean? So they can hang in there next season about that one over there.
Totally.
And RFA is really low for next season over the fact it's Buchnevich is only one RFA next season where he can be about $4 million, maybe $4 million. So they have a lot of good things for us coming. Just about that one over there. They have to suffer 1 year. I'm running after that is 57, but I just want to mention about that. Maybe you can talk a little bit about their draft and what's coming for rookies before we shut down everything here.
Yeah. So, I mean, Lafreniere is obviously the crown jewel. They already had a crown jewel in Capo Caco the year before. Aside from this, I think they've done a reasonably good job in drafting. if you look at the 2018 draft, they had a lot of picks. They had 3 first-round picks. If I look at them, at least 2 of them will play in the NHL. Like Kravtsov is very close. Like this is a very good player. Keandre Miller, I think they just need time, and that's probably why you see them riding it out with Jack Johnson, because Keandre Miller is a monster who can really skate. Like he's a big man. He's a good defenseman. Worst case, he's going to be a number 5, but I think he's probably more like a 3-4. So you got to think that's a real good player. Not talking much about Matthew Robertson, who could project to be an NHL guy. Braden Schneider was highly rated, and you need to give him time, but he's going to be a number 4, 3-4 in the NHL. So they've got stuff in the pipeline, right, that are coming. They move on from Elias Anderson, which is fine. If you look at other prospects, Kravtsov, to me, Kodorenko's okay. I'm not sure if he's definitely an NHLer, but you've got to think between Libor Hasek, I think he played in 60 games last year.
Yep.
So Hasek's another guy that, he can be projected into the lineup. I think he'll play ahead of some like Smith, and they're going to come to a realization that Johnson and Smith are not going to work out. And Hasek is a solid young guy. Keandre Miller, you've got to think about. I don't know Igor Rykov. I don't know if you know him.
Who?
This Rykov guy, the Russian?
No.
So that would be worth looking into. Interesting that they signed Keith Kincaid. So if one of the young goalies falters, then you've got Keith Kincaid, who's a very capable backup in the NHL.
No. He was so bad the last 3 years in NHL. He's just like
in limited, like he's a number 3.
5, but it's all right.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, but honestly, they have 2 solid goalies there. I don't think someone got hurt over there. I think overall they have a good. It's all about, like you just said, it's all about the future. It's not for this year. It's a little bit what Detroit did. Detroit Arizona say, you know what, we're going to suffer for 1-2 years right now. Just don't do a bad contract. That's what Jeff Gordon did. Right now, Jeff Gordon, he tried to eliminate the bad contract. Think about 21, 22, and 22, 23. He's a great posture to do that. They have a great coach, Dan Quinn, always been a great coach. He came from Colorado Avalanche before. He was for many years with the Boston College. They were very smart, intelligent coach over there. They still have 8 pick for the following year. No on second round, but still first round, third 2, third 4, 5, 6, 7. They're not going to maybe make a big splash. Panarin, can carry on the team. I don't think so. They have the quality to make the playoff this year, but they're going to learn for that. It takes a year.
I don't believe in that defense at all, but you can see what he's thinking, right? It's like, hey, we're loaded up top. Like if you project Kravtsov, you project Keandre Miller, man, they could be really, really good. And then you think of next year, if they get another top 10 pick, there's a lot of good defensemen,
Michael,
in that draft.
It's just like Kroba at $8 million is hurt. That's my point here.
For sure.
Because he never been over 50 points. He never scored, Michael, over 10 goals per year. I'm sorry. He did 13, 14. He did 10 goals. That's the only year he scored 10 goals in NHL. He never been over 30 points. One time another year is 50 points. That's it. The rest is so. He's about 30-point average, so we said, and he's not at $8 million. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, he's probably overpaid by 1.4 or 1.2 or something.
Yep.
So it's not the end of the world, but I mean, they gave up, frankly, like Neil Pionk, I think, is not far off from Trouba. Like they gave up a D that goes to Winnipeg and says, "Oh, I can do the same thing you were doing for less."
There's a bad trade about that one over there for sure. I think in the long term, I think Pionk is going to be great for the Winnipeg Jets every time.
Good.
But overall, it's a great. See what happened. It's a good statement you bring here this morning. I think it'll be interesting to watch them, the development of Taco and Lafreniere. They have two good goalies. Cedar as going to be the next couple of years over there, and it's very interesting what the Rangers can bring, and again see what their D is going to do. But I don't think so. They are on the top playoff list for my ranking for next year in 2021. So anything to add before we shut down the daily show today?
See you tomorrow.
I will see you guys tomorrow. Hockey Nation fan, thanks to be with us today. We're going to see tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and tomorrow we're going to shifting the N to the P.
What are we on tomorrow? I don't even know.
I believe we are Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
I believe. I could be wrong. I can give you this right now if you want to tell you exactly. You know what? I'm wrong. Ottawa Senators.
Oh, yeah. We almost forgot about Ottawa.
Yep. Ottawa, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
San Jose for the rest of the weeks. We're going to talk about them this week. So thanks, Michael, to be here. Look forward to see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Have an amazing, great Monday.
Thanks, Pierre.
Have a good one.